Rick Kelly, standing by at the CME in Chicago. Rick, what has them troubled down there in the pits? Let's see if we can solve their problems.
Well, there's no problems in life. There are only issues. When you say that the market is opening down, ignoring deals, I'm not watching the deals as closely as everybody at that desk, but I like the statement to give us an idea about how to look at the market in general. For all we know, the stock market would have been down 3 times or 2 times as much. We just don't know. Yeah. And it's the same as all the discussions you were having earlier. I've been getting boatloads of emails on, whether you saved the country from a depression or not. Maybe that would have been a more palatable way to go. But I will say it's pretty simple this morning. You could look at just exports regarding the U.S. and say the slowdown in Europe isn't going to be that big a deal. But it's so much more. And even if you don't think it is so much more, if you're a market person, the market obviously does. The Dutch government is breaking apart primarily because they can't reach enough austerity to get from about 4.7% debt to GDP down to 3%, the Eurozone benchmark. Just look at our own country with a $1.3 to $1.5 trillion debt and an economy, $15.5 trillion? We couldn't come close to making it, which really is why the market's down. Whether it's elections in France, what's going on in the Netherlands or the U.S., one speed, one suit does not fit all, and to think the European Central Bank in the big picture can hold all this together, to me, sounds like a cartoon.
Rick, I know there's a monetary world that you and Ron Paul would prefer, but unfortunately there is one that exists right now. I will tell you, we have our CNBC Fed survey coming out tomorrow that will try to gauge market expectations, what they expect from the Fed. Tell us, though, how this meeting plays this week in terms of trading, you think?
Listen, the last meeting was a turning point in the marketplace, albeit it was a very short detour. We saw a lot more selling come into the market as there was a notion that the chairman really wasn't going to sign for any extension on, renting the apartment of accommodation. But at this point, it almost doesn't matter. And I think no matter where rates would be without the Fed programs, we know that the pressures from Europe are pushing rates down. And right now, I think that is the overwhelming dynamic.
Congressman Paul, the Fed meets this week. It has Operation Twist, which is ending in June. The market not expecting additional quantitative easing from the Federal Reserve. In your opinion, should the Fed just let these programs end, or would you even counsel rolling them back?
Well, the market will eventually roll them back in real terms, but no, they should be ended. Why continue the process that hasn't achieved a whole lot? I mean, here we are, we're still in a slump. Actually, I think our economy has been slumping since the collapse of the NASDAQ bubble. Real job growth isn't there, real wealth isn't been growing. So I think we're continuing that. So this whole idea that you can solve your problem of too much spending and debt and inflating the money supply with more debt and more spending and more inflation of the money supply is preposterous. So I don't see any way that this will solve it. So the sooner they get out of it, the better. And there is a real question on how you do it. I don't call, although I stand for getting rid of the Fed, I don't call for the end of the Fed tomorrow. Matter of fact, if you read that carefully, what I want is just competition. I want people to opt out of the system they can. Today, if you want to use another currency, internationally you use different currencies all the time. Why can't we use it domestically? But there's laws against it. You go to jail if you try to use a silver dollar as currency, and that is the law of the land. So all I want is competition, and I think the people who love paper money and the Fed and buying those bonds and to make no interest, let them buy the bonds. They're outpriced, but I would say that we should be talking about buying gold bonds once again. Okay. That's the direction we need to move.
Do you personally own anything but gold? Do you own stocks in the market? What do you do with your money?
Well, mining stocks, and I like gold, but I like real estate. Real estate, but long term, no debt, maybe some income from it. that's more like something of real value.
I take it you don't like treasuries?
Pardon me?
You don't like treasuries?
Oh boy, I guess that's where you go. I mean, look at these trillions of dollars that go into treasuries, and of course, but who buys a 30-year bond as an investment? Oh yeah, I want to take care of my kids. I'm going to put it in a bond, and I'm going to have that money.
The world is buying these bonds. In fact, it sounds to me like the world has more confidence in the U.S. and its financial position than you do.
They're awash in dollars because we've created so many in the other currency.
But they're buying them. They're making an individual
they don't have any
market choice.
Do you want them to buy euros?
Well, why are they buying the United States?
There's nothing else to buy.
Because relatively, and the world is a relative place, right? It's not an objective place. They're buying the United States.
I would concede there's still an illusion and a trust in the U.S. dollar. It's still a reserve currency. But what happens if they start pricing oil in something than other dollars?
And what are they going to price that in?
Well, somebody might come up with another currency. The other countries are now getting together, 4 or 5 countries. They're talking about using something else. And what if somebody comes up with a gold-backed currency and somebody says, hey, this is a better idea. Once you get more rampant price inflation, people may opt. No, I think the dollar is destined to lose its reserve status, and this will change the whole world.
Over what period of time?
Yeah, when's it happen?
Well, that's one thing you can't predict, but I'll bet you that I don't. It could happen anytime because the foundation is gone for the whole system. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years, but it'll eventually be replaced.
All right. Rick, thank you for joining us this morning, and we have more from our guest host coming up.